American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesdays come down. Throw it all away.
All right. Welcome to another episode of American Timelines. I'm Amy and that's Joe.
We are a pair of jokers.
All right.
This is episode 176 of American Timelines. We still doing this. We still out here in these streets.
Yes.
As TBJ says.
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time being, we're still out here in these streets. Amy is back for her best story of 1954.
Yes, it is.
1954.
I would say it is.
This is a good one, right?
Yes.
You're going to wow me. You're going to knock everyone's socks off.
Let's just say it might be a little familiar to you.
Oh, I wonder what that means. I don't know what that means, but I will tell you that. So we're going to cover 2 months. So we got to jump into this.
Oh,
we don't
Jesus.
have time for dilly
I don't
dallying.
have time for 2 months.
Well, this is June and July. So I'm just doing the highlights. I'm not
Okay.
covering every little stupid thing.
Doing a light frosting.
I'm just going to focus on birthdays.
Okay.
Since everyone loves birthdays.
No, please don't.
And hit it, Matt True. We're going to jump right into June 1954 with a birthday.
Amy hates birthdays. Amy hates birthdays.
June 2nd, 1954, American actor and Allstate Insurance representative born in San Mateo, California. You know who it is? He does Allstate commercials. The son of Gladys, a homemaker, a house cleaner, and Charles Whitney Haysbert Sr., a deputy sheriff and airline security guard.
No,
He's the
I don't
eighth
know
of
who
9
this
children.
is. An all-state security
No,
representative.
he's Allstate Insurance.
Why are we talking about somebody who's an
He's
all-state
an actor.
insurance?
He's not a salesman. He's an insurance. He's on the insurance, Allstate Insurance commercials.
But why
And
do
he's
we
an
care
American
about-
actor.
why do
He's
we
a
care
great
about
actor.
that?
He's one of the best actors. He's the son of Gladys, who was a homemaker,
All right.
and
who-
Charles Whitney Haysbert Sr., a deputy sheriff and airline security guard. That was his dad. He's the 8th of 9 children. You can't guess who it is. Having 2 sisters and 6 brothers. His parents were from Louisiana. Haysbert was raised Baptist. Dennis Haysbert graduated from San Mateo High School in 1972. Team colors are orange and black, home of the Bearcats. Notable alumni include Merv Griffin,
This
Alicia
doesn't help me.
Silverstone, and Chris Christopherson. You don't know who Dennis Haysbert is?
I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Dennis Haysbert. I said his name. Like, you don't even have to guess his name. You can just say Dennis Haysbert again, and you're right. You don't know
Who
Dennis
is he?
Haysbert?
Who is he?
The Allstate guy. He's the guy from 24.
Oh,
The president
yeah,
from
the
24.
president from 24.
Yeah.
Now I get it. I don't watch commercials, so that
Oh.
just didn't help.
He's been on him forever. After high school, being 6'5" tall, he was offered an athletic scholarship, but instead he chose to study acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. How about that?
All righty.
Now you know more about Dennis Haysbert.
I sure do.
And then we're going to jump all the way to June 6th, where we got to play another birthday theme
Come on.
song.
Amy hates birthdays. Amy hates birthdays.
Put them all up front, okay? And this one
All?
you'll like.
I wanted you to say both.
Both up front. This is a playwright.
This better be your other one. So right now I want you to browse through the ones that you have left and pick your favorite because this is it.
No.
This is the only other birthday you get this episode.
No, that's not.
Yes.
We got 2 months. I got more birthdays.
No.
But this one is you're
I'm
gonna
not listening.
No, you'll grant me a wish for more birthdays because
Why?
this one is gonna be one you're a fan of. He's a playwright, born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, New York City, the son of Jacqueline Harriet, a school librarian, and Irving Firestein,
Harvey Firestein.
a handkerchief manufacturer. Yes, his father was a handkerchief manufacturer. He was raised Jewish, but later rejected the faith and became an atheist. He attended the High School of Art and Design. Team colors blue and gold. Notable alumni include Tony Bennett and Larry Hama, creator of G.I. Joe, and Harvey Firestein went to school with all those guys. Can you believe it?
I can't.
He received a BFA from the Pratt Institute in 1973.
God, do we have any listeners anymore?
He began working in the theater as a founding member of the Gallery Players of Park Slope before being cast in Andy Warhol's only
I
play.
don't know why anyone would
Pork.
listen to this.
Harvey Fierstein, you don't care about his high school days?
No.
How about this?
What?
Notable thing about Harvey Fierstein you've always wanted to know. His signature gravelly voice
Mhm.
is a result of an overdeveloped vestibular fold in his vocal cords,
Oh,
essentially giving him a double voice when he speaks.
really? I thought he was just a heavy smoker.
Nope. And prior to puberty, Fierstein was a soprano in a professional boys
Ah.
choir. He was a soprano.
No kidding.
And then now he talks like
Now you know.
this.
That's pretty funny.
Now you know that. You can tell
Right.
people that he's got a vestibular fold. Man, I'm into vestibular folds.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
I want to bang his vestibular fold. And then June 14th, 1954, a historical moment when the phrase under God became a part of the Pledge of Allegiance. Because
Right?
it wasn't.
Because it wasn't.
It wasn't before all you people like, it's right there, the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
not
wasn't
till
under God until
1954.
1954. And its adoption was largely due to pressure from the Knights of Columbus and nationwide concerns about godless communism.
I was just going to say that.
Yep.
Communism.
Godless communism. Yep.
And that's what they're trying to gin up again.
They're trying to what up?
They're trying to gin up communism.
What's the verb you're saying? Gin or gin?
Gin up.
What does that mean? How does G-I-N or J-I-N?
I don't know. You're putting me on the spot now.
I'm sorry. I just haven't heard that before.
You've never heard anybody say somebody's going to gin something up?
No.
Oh,
I like the cut of your jib. I've heard that.
I don't know how it's spelled, but they're going to. I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
Okay. Well, I'll just move on to June 17th, a couple days later.
It's better not be a fucking birthday.
Well, what this is actually a woman named Joan Sparks, who was a dancer,
Yeah.
had fallen in love with a guy named William Nelson Baker, co-founder of the
No,
Open
this is a
Stage Center in
birthday.
Hartford. And they
This is a fucking
they
birthday.
gave birth to Mark Linn Baker on June
God damn it.
17th. Mark Linn Baker, you got to admit, that's worth talking
I don't
about.
even know who that is.
American actor from Perfect Strangers, Mark Linn Baker.
No.
He was born with the given names Mark Linn and the surname Baker in St. Louis, Missouri, your hometown. You should know this guy. But he later changed his surname to a compound surname by hyphenating his middle name Lynn with the surname Baker, being Mark Linn Baker. Cousin Larry, he played
Is
Cousin
it my
Larry.
turn yet? Because you're abusing me right now. This is abuse and it's racism
Because I talk about Mark Linn Baker?
because you're going on and on about birthdays.
Well, Mark Linn Baker graduated from Wethersfield High School in Wethersfield, Connecticut. They're navy blue. And
We're
white,
done
home
talking
of the
about Mark
Eagles.
Linn Baker.
And he graduated in 1972. And notable alumni include Betsy Johnson, a fashion designer. What are you, racist? You don't want to talk about fashion designers? Okay, how about this? This is a good one. This is a historical moment. It's not a birthday. June 18th, 1954.
Yeah.
I had no idea this happened.
Okay.
And this is going to make you feel bad
Oh,
about your country.
well,
as
that's
if,
not
as
gonna
if
be
most things don't already.
hard. Yeah.
On June 18th of 1954, the United Fruit Company, have you ever heard of that?
No.
They're now known as Chiquita.
Okay.
It was originally called the United Fruit Company, the UFC. They asked, I can't believe this has happened. Chiquita basically asked the U.S. government to act militarily against the Guatemalan government when, under a new law, some of its unused farmland in Guatemala was going to be given to peasants. This led to the CIA assisting in deposing Guatemala's president
Oh my
in 1954,
God.
just so this company could
Evil.
continue making fruit.
Evil.
This was the 1954 Guatemalan Coup d'etat, codenamed Operation PB Success, was a covert operation carried out at the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. They deposed Guatemalan President Jacobo Arbenz and ended the Guatemalan Revolution of 44 to 54. And they installed the military dictatorship of Carlos Castillo Armas.
Why did they put in a
The first-
military dictatorship?
First in a series of U.S.-backed authoritarian rulers
Yeah.
in Guatemala.
Jesus.
So the basic gist of it is that,
They want money from the bananas.
well, yeah,
So they
but
put
they,
in a military ruler.
well, the reason the CIA went along with it is because they were afraid of the spread of communism. They were like giving
yeah.
away all this land to
That's
people is
that's too much like communism.
but it was like this, all the people elected the guy they deposed.
Yeah, it was
All the
democracy.
Guatemalan people, it was a democracy. They
Mhm.
elected this guy, and they got rid of him just for an American business and to do that in the name of defeating communism. It's really, really terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible.
Yeah, the UFC had been a highly profitable business, was affected by the end to exploitative labor practices in Guatemala. That's the other thing. There's all these exploitative, they were using all these people, but once they elected this guy, they were going to get rid of the exploitative labor practices. And so they engaged in an influential lobbying campaign to persuade the U.S. to overthrow the Guatemalan government. U.S. President Harry Truman authorized Operation PB Fortune to topple Arbenz in 1952. And that operation was quickly aborted, and they did the new one called PB Success. And Eisenhower had ran on this whole thing, this whole promise to take a harder line against communism.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So they did these like campaigns to kind of like give false information about communism to fill everybody with fear. And they try to criticize and isolate Guatemala internationally with other people, saying they're awful and terrible. That tons of psychological warfare in Guatemala, including a radio station which broadcast anti-government propaganda and a version of military events favorable to the rebellion, claiming to be genuine news, as well as air bombings of Guatemala City and a naval blockade.
God, it's just amazing how much energy and money and time and genius goes into destroying other people's lives.
Isn't it terrible just for our success? And we're looked at as this great free country, and it's just terrible.
Well, it's like we're kind of colonizers in a way.
Oh, that's what we are.
Yeah.
I mean, completely. But we just like gloss it over and lie about it and just cover up the truth. So it was described as a definitive death blow to democracy in Guatemala. The coup was widely criticized internationally and strengthened the long-lasting anti-U.S. sentiment in Latin America. Castillo Armas quickly assumed, who took over, the guy they put in charge, quickly assumed dictatorial powers, banning opposition parties, imprisoning and torturing political opponents, and reversing the social reforms of the revolution. Nearly 4 decades of civil war followed, as leftist guerrillas fought the series of U.S.-backed authoritarian regimes whose brutalities included a genocide of the Maya people. So, also we can have bananas.
Jesus.
Next time you eat your banana. And then on June 19th, 1954, another crazy thing that happened. Lester Calloway Hunt Sr., have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
He's a Democratic senator.
Yeah.
He committed suicide at his desk on Capitol Hill.
He did?
After being blackmailed for his son's homosexuality.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Earlier on June 9th, or the year before of 1953, his 24-year-old son, Lester Jr., known as Buddy, who was a student and president of the student body at the Episcopal Theological School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, was arrested in D.C. for soliciting prostitution from a male undercover police officer in Lafayette Square, just north of and adjacent to the White House property. It was his first offense, which police normally handled quietly as a matter of the offender's family to address.
Right.
But the arrest became known to Senate Republicans. And according to Drew Pearson's Washington Merry-Go-Round column published after Hunt's death, Senator Stiles Bridges and Herman Welker threatened that if Hunt, a Democrat, did not immediately retire from the Senate and agree not to seek his seat in the 1954 election, they would see that his son was prosecuted and would widely publicize his son's arrest.
Evil.
Yep. And so that led to him.
And then he killed himself because of that.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, my God.
Because of the embarrassment.
Lordy,
wonderful
Lordy,
place.
Lordy.
I'm so glad.
Lordy, Lordy,
Yep.
Lordy.
There were some, notes. He left some notes, and there was some talk of they tried to say, "Oh, he just committed suicide because of a health issue," but the real truth, according to Pearson, was because of the shame of his son. That same day, on June 19th, the Tasmanian Devil debuts in Devil May Hair cartoon by Warner Brothers. So that's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Balance it with good stuff. Cleanse a little palate cleanser. And I just want to give you just a feel of what June 1954 was like.
Okay.
In America. The temperature in Overton, Nevada was a state record of 122 degrees Fahrenheit that June 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
June 28th of 1954, it was 111 degrees in Camden, South Carolina, a state record.
Holy shit.
It was a hot summer.
Wow.
And also on June 28th, archaeologists excavating an 8th century Viking settlement in Sweden, they found a Buddha statuette from India.
Oh, wow.
So
how'd that happen?
It confused a lot of people because the Vikings never traveled to India from what they thought. It's known as Helgo Buddhan, the Helgo Buddha, named after the old Norse market village Helgo, where it was found. Today, it can be seen in the Swedish History Museum in Stockholm. According to Colleen Ann Coyle, PhD of Archaeology at University of Chicago, and Arkaprava Sangupta, MA of History in 2019 on Quora.com, it's one of the most mysterious artifacts found amongst the Old Norse, as they had never had any contact with Indians. In fact, they would go as far as to say the Old Norse never even encountered any Buddhists. Suffice it to say, the statue was not grabbed by Vikings in India. Rather, it's much more likely that the statue made it onto the Silk Road into Europe, where it was then stolen by a Viking who brought it back home, where it eventually landed in the Helgo market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mystery solved.
There we go.
Yep.
That was cool. And that brings us to July. We're going to flip the calendar from June to July of 1954.
Already calendar
and that's
flipped.
Going to bring us to July 3rd.
Yeah.
Where you have something for us.
Oh, shit.
It started on July 3rd. The night of Saturday, July 3rd, I think.
Oh, shit. And
it's time for you to take over. I'm going to drink my Hop Slam.
Let me take a sip too. Yeah.
Because it's January. It's February. And Hop Slam is out. This, you know what? Actually, this is an anniversary.
Oh,
this week might be the anniversary of us.
We got to hear about Hop Slam for.
Well, no, Hop Slam always reminds me. This is when we started recording our podcast.
Really?
It was 2018 of February of 2018.
Yeah, it was before the pandemic. That's crazy. I
This
feel
is
like
our fourth.
Don't you feel like the pandemic's been forever?
It does. I feel like
I don't remember life before the pandemic.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's in my head. It's still 2019.
Yeah.
Like we dropped everything, and it's like suddenly it's 3 years later, and people they're different. Like everybody's in a different place, and
it's weird.
The world isn't. I don't know how the world works. Anyway, this is our 4th anniversary.
Yes.
Of podcasting.
Aw.
And we're still doing it, kind of.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Okay.
Oh man, I love you. You're a good woman.
I love you too, babe. All right.
Sorry, I was talking to a dog.
I'm going to talk about Sam Sheppard, famous neurosurgeon.
Wait, not Sam. Isn't Sam Sheppard a playwright?
That's a different spelling.
Oh.
So in the early hours of July 4th, 1954, the wife of a respected neurosurgeon was bludgeoned to death.
Ooh.
The first person to find her body was her husband, Dr. Sam Sheppard, whose spotty alibi quickly made him the prime suspect in her murder.
Ooh, it's always the husband. I don't know if anybody's heard me say this before. I'm an expert now on murders. We kind of are, right?
I don't know. Say expert.
We're kind of experts, and it's always the husband. It's always the significant other.
All right. A media blitz and public witch hunt followed.
Of course.
The court even called the case an absolute carnival.
Absolute fucking carnival, they would say nowadays.
So Sam Sheppard lived with his wife, Marilyn Reese Sheppard, and a 7-year-old son, Sam Reese Chip Sheppard.
Oh, Chip. And they called juniors Chips because they're chip off the old block.
That's right. on a fashionable lakefront property in Bay Village, Ohio.
Oh, Bay Village. I don't know where
Yeah.
that is.
On the night in question, the Sheppards had hosted neighbors for a movie, and the neurosurgeon shortly afterward fell asleep on a daybed downstairs.
Wait. A home movie?
Yeah, I guess.
Because they didn't have movies at home at that time, did they?
I don't know. That's what they just said. They hosted them for a movie. It was on TV, probably.
I don't know if they had
Something that was
movies
on TV.
Maybe it was a.
Yeah, they had
Should
movies
I
on
look up
TV.
what was on TV that day?
Go
or
for
not?
it.
It was July 3rd.
Yeah. Is that what I said?
That's what
July
I said.
4th.
I had July 3rd then it happened. But
Well,
let's see if there's any TV movies on. Stage show was on July 3rd. July 4th. It was the 4th of July. They wouldn't be watching the movies, would they?
I don't know.
Goodyear TV Playhouse had a show on from 9 to 10.
Maybe that was it.
Is that what time it was? Or do you not? No.
No, didn't know.
Suitable for Framing was the show.
Okay, so
Okay.
so they had hosted neighbors for a movie, and then after the neighbors left, Sam Sheppard fell asleep on a daybed downstairs.
Okay.
His wife saw the neighbors out, put their son to bed, and went upstairs to sleep herself. So I guess he actually went to sleep before the neighbors had left.
Okay. He was tired. The
He was
neighbors were still
tired.
watching the movie.
Yep, that's
It
right.
was probably a home movies, I would guess.
Could be. After an exhausting day at the emergency room, Sheppard was startled awake by the sound of his wife's screams. He
Uh-oh.
rushed upstairs to the bedroom to find a white form bent over his barely conscious wife. The next thing Sheppard knew, he too was unconscious.
Wait, is it a ghost?
I don't think
A
so.
white form?
That's just how he described it.
Okay.
Sometime later, when Sheppard came to, he heard the intruder downstairs. So he confronted the intruder, who was tall, about 6 feet,
Oh,
and with bushy hair. Sheppard chased the intruder outside and down to the beach, where he was knocked unconscious again.
oh man, this guy's kicking this dude's ass.
And so then the next time he regained consciousness, he was shirtless and partially submerged in the lake.
But he was?
He was, yes. That's
Wow.
when he woke up. He didn't have a shirt on, and he was partially submerged in the lake.
Wow.
He returned to his house and checked in on his 7-year-old son, who had miraculously slept through the whole commotion.
What?
He called Spencer Houck,
Kids will sleep through anything. You called Spencer Houck.
his neighbor and the mayor of Bay Village, at about 5:40 a.m.
That okay, right away. Let me pause a second and just think. If you're the mayor is your neighbor,
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna try to murder anybody at your house. If the mayor's next door,
I don't know.
people are afraid of mayors.
Well, the police were not notified until after the mayor arrived at the murder scene with his own wife.
Police didn't arrive till after the mayor was there.
They weren't
and his wife.
notified
Oh,
until
notified. The mayor and his wife came up because you're going to assume that's basically the law. It's the mayor. And I'm afraid of mayors. I have a mayor phobia.
So Marilyn, aged 30, was and pregnant.
That's the wife. Mayor's wife.
No, that's Sam
That's her,
Sheppard's wife.
His wife.
The
Oh yeah,
victim.
who's dead now.
She's on her bed, her face unrecognizable from the severe trauma to her head.
Oh no.
Her pajama top was pulled up, revealing her breasts, while her pajama
Oh.
bottoms had been pulled down to her ankles, with one completely removed from her leg.
Oh.
Right. The first police officers arrived 4 minutes after the mayor. They
Okay.
initially assumed a robbery had gone wrong. Shortly after, Dr. Sheppard's brother arrived, and they went to the hospital together to see to his head injuries, because he
Okay.
had some head injuries.
Okay.
At 8 a.m., Cuyahoga County Coroner Sam Gerber arrived at the crime scene, and he thought it looked staged,
Sam Gerber don't fuck around.
especially because it appeared to be no sign of forced entry.
Okay.
No murder weapon was found, though a trail of blood from the weapon was found going from the bedroom downstairs and then to the front porch
But
as it
didn't-
was carried out of the house.
In those days in the 50s, people didn't lock their doors though, did they?
That's kind of what I think too.
Like nobody locked their doors.
Right. Outside in a bush,
Yeah, Bush.
he found a canvas bag with Sheppard's bloodstained wristwatch, fraternity ring, and key. Gerber surmised that from this that a robbery had been staged to hide a domestic murder.
Yeah, because what was in the bag? His fraternity ring and what else?
Wristwatch, fraternity
Oh,
ring, and
wristwatch.
key.
So maybe the watch was expensive in those days.
Right. He figured Marilyn was killed sometime between 3 and 4 in the morning, as her watch was stopped at 3:15 a.m.
Ooh.
An hour later, he headed to the hospital to interview the neurosurgeon. Gerber felt that Sheppard's encounter with the bushy-haired intruder and his head injuries
You're
sounded-
saying bushy haired with quotes, right?
quotes,
Like
yeah,
bushy haired guy we
intruder.
know doesn't exist.
I'm not saying that. That's what
Yeah.
kind of what this guy's saying.
Yeah.
And so he felt that it sounded fabricated.
Okay.
Further, he sensed no remorse in Shepard's statement.
Really?
And then Shepard refused to undergo questioning from police as the days passed and claimed this was on his doctor's orders, but his doctor was his brother. So, you know, I don't know if that proves anything. This evasiveness spelled a precarious situation for Shepard.
Yeah.
By the end of the first day of the investigation, rumors of Shepard's infidelity hit the press alongside details of his wife's murder.
Now it all comes out. It all starts leaking out.
2 weeks after Marilyn's death, a front page editorial in the Cleveland Press demanded a public inquest.
Okay.
Gerber, which was the coroner, responded to the demand and subpoenaed Shepard and his family to attend an inquest held in a local high school that evening. A media circus unfolded.
Oh, man. I bet there was a media circus.
For 3 evenings, witnesses were interrogated about Shepard's character and his marriage. Shepard was grilled about an alleged affair with a beautiful former lab technician named Susan Hayes.
Oh, lab technicians are hot, man.
Shepard denied the affair, but it was a lie that would later have serious consequences.
Fucking liar.
A week after the inquest had finished, the Cleveland Press demanded that Shepard be forced to admit to the crime. Yet again, Gerber responded to the press and had Shepard arrested and officially charged with his wife's murder.
It's funny that the press could demand that.
I know. Inquests are weird.
Yeah.
On October 18th, 1954.
Oh, the same day that on I Love Lucy, Lucy cries wolf. Where's the Lucy? Oh, Lucy fakes a crisis to test Ricky's love for her.
Yes.
That same day?
That same day. Sam Sheppard was put on trial. The presiding judge was 70-year-old Edward Blythen. Press from around the country were in attendance, including celebrity journalist Dorothy Kilgallon.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
She was murdered,
She
right?
was murdered.
Wait a minute.
She wrote about each day of the trial in her national column.
Aren't you impressed that I remember that she was
That
murdered?
is crazy that you remember that.
Because she was murdered in the 60s. Must have been because we're doing the 50s.
That's
now.
right. Yeah, she's murdered in the 60s.
And we did the 60s before this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. She was
Crazy.
I can't believe I remember that.
I know.
I'm listening to you.
Wow.
I care about
I'm
you.
impressed. So the
All
first day of the trial started with a press tour of Shepard's home to see the crime scene while Shepard was hauled around in handcuffs.
Wait, was that the only thing that was familiar?
Yeah.
The Dorothy Kilgallon bit?
Yeah. No, there's something else that, well, the whole story I think is going to sound familiar to you.
What is just to me or to our listeners?
To you, maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the first day of the trial started with a press tour of Shepard's home. And they had Shepard there.
A press tour of his home? Like they're bringing everybody out just like.
And he was hauled around in handcuffs at the crime scene.
At the crime scene?
Yeah.
And is this like for everybody to make your own conclusions or to
I don't know.
Give us your best idea as to what you think happened or what's the.
I don't know. Then back in the courtroom, the prosecution showed the jury a slideshow of grisly photographs of Marilyn's autopsy.
Ugh.
I don't know why they'd have to see her autopsy. Shepard was denied being excused from the court during the slideshow when he requested it. So he had to sit there and watch.
I feel like, I kind of feel like everything that happened in the 50s in this time, anything that long ago.
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to work. I guess generally psychologically, nobody understood ramifications of anything.
Right.
Like they didn't think about the psychological ramifications of seeing shit like that. Or it seems like everything you did, nobody thought about how this affects everyone.
Well, they still don't. People
Yeah.
don't think about how that affects everyone.
I think they do now.
No.
Like now they'll at least say, here's a warning. This could be graphic, or maybe sensitive
Yeah, but
people shouldn't.
If you're
do
on a
that.
jury, you have to do it. You
Really?
just see what they show you.
Don't they have to test you to see if you're a sensitive weirdo or something?
Probably.
All right.
All right. So anyway, then Shepard's guilt seemed certain when Sam Gerber confidently asserted that a supposed bloody outline on the victim's bed was from a multi-pronged surgical instrument that only a doctor like Shepard could have possibly acquired.
Ugh.
Though no murder weapon was ever even found, Shepard's attorney was denied access to the physical evidence and therefore could not effectively cross-examine Gerber about it. So they didn't give the defense attorney that they were going to call the coroner up and do that.
I don't get what you just said. Why didn't they let them do that?
So the defense has
Say
to
it
get
again slower.
the defense has to get all the information. It's called discovery, where you get all the
Okay.
information that the other side has.
Okay.
And this surgical instrument little bit that the coroner comes up with here,
Yeah.
the defense was never made aware that was part of the
They
case.
didn't know that was going to come out of the case,
Right,
so they
so
didn't prepare their defense.
Yeah, they couldn't cross-examine him.
Gotcha. See, I'm a dumb guy, so sometimes you got to slow it down.
I mean, they could cross-examine him, but not effectively because they couldn't have prepared.
They weren't ready for it. So they're
Right.
like, oh, how do we explain that? So Sam was the doctor. I was thinking the
Sam
wife.
is the Shepard they're both Sam. So that makes it kind of crazy. Sam Gerber is the coroner.
Oh,
Sam
right.
Sheppard is the neurosurgeon that murdered.
But he's a
the
neurosurgeon. I was thinking for
neurosurgeon.
some reason I thought the wife was a doctor.
No.
She's
So then the prosecution's final witness was Susan Hayes, the young lab technician who
the
Shepard
super
had
hot
denied having
one
an
that
affair
was
with.
yeah.
To Shepard's dismay, Hayes said it was true. Under pressure,
What was
Shepard-
true, the affair?
Yeah. So then under pressure, Shepard broke down when he took the stand and also admitted to the affair.
Oh man.
Then in his defense, Corrigan produced 3 witnesses who testified to seeing the bushy-haired intruder Shepard had described in the vicinity of the home around the time of the murder.
Oh, really? People saw the bushy-haired
Yeah,
assailant?
3 people did. The Bay Village police even made a sketch of the intruder from an eyewitness who drove past Shepard's home at 3:50 a.m. Even so, after 5 days of deliberation, the jury found Shepard guilty of second-degree murder.
Wow, what about the bushy-haired intruder? I think
The jury did not believe the crime was premeditated, so Shepard was spared a first-degree murder charge and therefore a death sentence.
they think it was more of a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
So if you're a bushy-haired intruder,
Yeah.
couldn't you
It's John Serpinski or something.
That's what I pictured too.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours, John Serpinski. He's a longtime listener. Now he was a guest once, but if you're you're a bushy-haired intruder,
Yeah.
and you just go through your life, you're a bushy-haired intruder. I'm a bushy-haired intruder.
Or are
eating
you
my
a
cereal.
bush-haired intruder? You just have a lot of bush hair.
A lot of bush hair. I think this is a bushy-haired. But wouldn't you think like, hey, I'm a bushy-haired intruder. Everybody's going to recognize me because with my bushy hair. If he got a haircut, we know he wouldn't be the bushy-haired intruder, right?
Mhm.
So what would he be?
I don't follow you.
If he wasn't the bushy-haired intruder, maybe he would be the unusually large mole intruder, or he'd be the
Maybe some other characteristic you're trying to say.
the gross weird scrotum intruder.
Right.
Like whatever.
So then
I don't know what I'm talking
he
about.
received life in prison with the possibility of parole in a decade. So that's
weird. I think
so
we'd
in
figure
10
that-
years.
10 years maybe we'll figure out.
Yeah. 2 weeks after the verdict, Shepard's mother committed suicide,
Oh my god.
followed by the death of his father from a hemorrhaging ulcer just 1 week later.
Ulcers are caused by stress. So.
Shepard was allowed to attend the funeral in handcuffs.
Oof.
For the next 7 years, Shepard fought his ruling from a maximum security prison near Columbus.
Okay.
Despite the toll his case had taken on the family, Shepard's
I know.
What?
I know who this is.
You do?
This is Andy Dufresne, isn't it?
Nope.
Shawshank guy?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Damn. Oh, is it Harrison Ford?
Yes,
The Fugitive?
Yes.
Oh.
Despite the toll his case had
okay.
taken on the family, Shepard's 2 brothers rallied around him. They hired a forensic scientist, Dr. Paul Leland Kirk, to review the state's physical evidence.
Okay.
When Kirk examined the blood splatter on the walls, he found one part of the wall was devoid of blood. This, he concluded, proved that the killer would have been covered in blood. But Shepard had only one large spot of blood on his trousers.
Mm.
Kirk also determined that some blood spots were from the backswing of the murder weapon, which showed clearly that it had been wielded from a left-handed person, but Shepard
Left-handed
was
person.
right-handed.
Left-handed guy, yes.
Furthermore, broken pieces of Marilyn's teeth were found underneath her body.
Oh.
Her teeth had been broken out, not in, which was evidence that Marilyn had bit her assailant.
Yeah.
When Shepard had been examined at the hospital, no bite marks or open wounds were discovered on his body.
Oh.
But when Corrigan presented this new evidence to Judge Blythen for a retrial, the judge rejected the appeal. Corrigan took the matter all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, but was denied a retrial.
Oh, fuck.
Then Corrigan died 5 years later, and that chance of retrial kind of died with him.
What?
Shepard's best course of action appeared to be to take a lie detector test in the hope of reducing his life sentence.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Does he break out like in the Fugitive?
well, it doesn't.
Oh.
It's not like completely.
Oh, okay. I'm just
Luckily-
waiting for the action. Now I'm on this guy's side. Now that I know it's Harrison Ford.
Luckily, a polygraph expert from Boston named F. Lee Bailey
F. Lee Bailey, y'all.
was interested in Shepard's case.
Okay.
Bailey took Shepard's case to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
He claimed that the doctor's constitutional right to a fair trial had been violated. Shepard got a retrial in front of Judge Carl Weinman, who Bailey described as the best thing that happened to Sam Sheppard.
Okay.
While
Sorry, we're
Weinman,
laughing about our dog is doing something ridiculous.
while Weinman reviewed the entire trial record,
Yeah.
a valuable piece of information fell into Bailey's lap. In March 1964,
Yeah.
Dorothy Kilgallon, who had written a daily column on Shepard's first trial, recalled
And who would be later murdered.
that Judge Blythen had told her before the trial even began that
Yeah.
Shepard was guilty as hell and the trial was a mere formality.
So he made up his mind.
Yeah.
That's not okay. You
This,
can't do that.
this disposition helped Judge Weinman to declare a mistrial.
Okay.
He noted that the press coverage had been calculated to inflame and prejudice. Then on November 16th, 1966,
Oh, the same day that on Gomer Pyle USMC,
mhm,
Gomer and Sergeant Carter find themselves engaged to the same married woman that same day.
yes, Sam, after a decade in prison, 40-year-old Sam Sheppard was released.
Oh, he was?
Yep.
He was 40 at this point.
Yep. 1 week later, he was married to a German woman from Dusseldorf named Adrian Tabin Johans.
Wait a minute. He was married a week after he got out.
Yes.
So she must have been one of
She-
these prison.
She had corresponded with him in prison.
His prison corresponders.
She
They're
would
so weird.
prove to add her own small bit of controversy to Shepard's case when it was discovered that her half sister had been the wife of Joseph Goebbels, Adolf Hitler's propaganda minister.
What
Right?
the fuck? What?
Yeah.
That's a weird turn.
Yeah.
I don't remember that in The Fugitive.
The acquittal was a hollow victory for Shepard. With the conviction overturned, Shepard had his medical license reinstated, but soon after he faced malpractice suits after 2 of his patients died while in surgery.
What?
Shepard's second wife divorced him, and Shepard entered a downward spiral of depression and alcoholism.
Oh, he got through all that and now he's
Yeah.
drunk.
He entered professional boxing for a while, excuse me,
What?
where he met his third wife, the 19-year-old daughter of his wrestling coach.
Oh, that's weird.
Yep.
He became a boxer? I didn't know that.
On April 6th, 1970,
Oh, the same day that on Mayberry RFD, Millie, the secretary, is enrolled in the Bradbury Business College to hone her secretarial skills and get a better job.
yes, he died from liver failure. Dr. Sam
Oh,
Sheppard
no.
was just 46. His son, Sam Jr., then was determined to restore his father's reputation and find his mother's real killer.
Okay.
He discovered that a mentally disturbed man named Richard Eberling frequently washed his parents'
With
windows
bushy hair.
and was serving time for killing an elderly woman.
Oh no.
So he was suspicious. So he went to meet Eberling.
Yeah.
And Eberling denied killing Marilyn, but he did draw an obsessively detailed map of their home
Oh no.
and even
What?
included a little known entrance into the basement that wasn't even present in the police sketch.
Wait, why would he draw that?
I don't know.
He was trying to.
I don't know.
I didn't do it, I swear, but let me just draw a map of your home.
Right?
What? That
Sam.
doesn't make any sense.
So then Sam Jr. approached Cleveland attorney Terry Gilbert to help uncover further information about his possible suspect.
Okay.
Gilbert found sealed police records that revealed Eberling had been arrested 5 years after Marilyn's murder for burglaries. 2 of Marilyn's rings were found in his possession. It appeared Eberling had stolen them from a box of Marilyn's possessions stored in the house of one of Sam Sheppard's brothers.
Oh.
In 1997, Sam Jr. and Gilbert filed a civil suit against the county for wrongful imprisonment of his father and to
Oh.
consider Eberling the real suspect.
Yeah, he was in jail all that time.
Eberling died in prison in 1998. The
Okay.
jury ultimately ruled that they were unconvinced of Sam Jr.'s claims. Dr. Sheppard remained the likeliest suspect in the brutal murder of his own wife in the eyes of the law.
Wow.
Then on August 29th, 1967,
Oh, the same day that on ABC, The Fugitive
That's
was
what-
on at 10
well,
p.m.
that's what I was just
Oh.
going to talk about. 78 million viewers tuned in to watch Dr. Richard Kimball of the hit TV series The Fugitive finally confront his wife's killer, the mysterious one-armed man.
And that connects the TV, what's on TV with
With
the real murder. And we
the
just said the same
1967
thing.
series finale was one of the most watched television finales of all time and would later become the subject of a blockbuster Hollywood thriller starring Harrison Ford.
Oh my God. Harrison Ford is a good looking man.
Yep.
Even at this age now, he's an older man.
Yep. So that's
Wow.
the story of Sam Sheppard. And
That was fabulous. I had no idea all those deets. about that story.
Yeah.
That was a wild ride.
Yeah.
That was good. You did a good job.
Well, it was allthat'sinteresting.com did a really good bang up job on that.
Allthat'sinteresting.com is a good website to read word for word from.
That's right.
And we don't claim to be any sort of expert researchers.
They're
We're
authors
just
of any
fun
sort.
people regurgitating crap we found on the internet
That's right.
in a fun way while our dogs screw around.
All right.
I'm going to burn through July. Okay. We're going to speed round, finish.
Can we take a speed round through
Let me see how we can speed round through it. Okay.
Okay.
July 4th, meat and all other food rationing officially ends in Britain 9 years after the end of the World War II. July 5th, singer Elvis Presley's first professional recording session with guitarist Scotty Moore and bass player Bill Black takes place at the Sam Phillips Memphis Recording Service in Memphis, Tennessee. The trio record 4 songs, including their historic cover of Arthur Big Boy Crudup song, That's All Right. July 10th, American Major League Baseball outfielder Andre Dawson was born, and he went to Southwest Miami Senior High School, home of the Eagles. Team colors purple and white. Notable alumni include Conan the wrestler. Dawson's nickname was the Hawk. And then the natural Butch Reed was born the next day, July 11th, is a wrestler. Who cares about that? July 12th, President Eisenhower put forward a plan for an interstate highway system.
Yep, that was his big achievement.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it was, again, it's 117 degrees on July 14th in East St. Louis.
Oh.
It's 118 degrees in Warsaw and Union, Missouri. Do you know where that is? Being from
Union, Missouri. I feel like I do know where that is.
And then on July 15th, it was 110 degrees in Balcony Falls, Virginia. July 20th, American tennis champion Maureen Connolly's right leg is crushed in a horse riding accident,
Ouch.
ending her brilliant career at just 19.
Oh, the poor thing.
She was horseback riding in San Diego when a passing concrete mixer truck frightened her horse, Colonel Maryboy, which pinned Connolly between the horse and the truck. She was thrown and suffered a compound fracture to her right fibula.
Oh,
man. Then on July 28th, On the Waterfront, directed by Elia Kazan, starring Marlon Brando and Eva Marie Saint, was released.
Yes.
Eva Marie Saint had a theater named after her at Bowling Green State University, where you and I both performed.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And then the last thing for July 29th, 1954, was the publication of Fellowship of the Ring, the first volume of The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Oh.
Published by George Allen and Unwin in London. Did you know that was that early? 1954.
I thought it was older than that, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, The Hobbit was older than that.
Oh, okay.
That was after that. And that concludes
yes, it does.
June and July of 1954. Well, we're in the garage. We're on our garage podcast studio in February.
That's right. So I'm getting
But
cold.
we're in the Carolinas, so it's pretty warm out here. It's not bad. I'm not cold at all because this Hopsland warms you up.
Freezing.
Anyway, thank you for listening. That was cool. This is a great episode. Episode 176 could go down as a banging fucking episode.
Right. You never know.
All of you listeners who listened to this episode, if you liked it, bang somebody in honor of it.
All right.
Okay.
All
bang
righty.
the closest person to you, whoever it is. Bang them.
Get out of here, Chuck
First
Berry.
person you see after this podcast ends, you got to bang.
Are you finished?
Yep. Bang whoever that is.
Good night.
Bang whoever you see right now.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Good job, bye.
You been down on the streets today? Say, now, baby, it's about to get crazy. Everybody's got something to say. We got 10,000 people screaming, oh my God, it's over, but they're never gonna take us away. So you better get believing there's a brand new feeling. If you're asking, I say stay awake, stay awake.
Matt Truman Ego Trip is the greatest band of all time. Buy their music.